All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live, and yes, you can't see me. You're welcome. My name is Eddie Law. These are the Keyboard Warriors, presented by CrossFitMMA.com. Of course, like I said, my name is Eddie Law. We got Fred Kirby with the new setup. You can hear him. Here, give him a taste of the voice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no worries about not seeing Eddie. You can still see my beautiful face, and it should be a little bit more high def. So, we're good to go. Yeah, new setup, new little fucking fancy microphone, so you pricks can hear me better. Yeah. We're golden.
I'm gonna work on this camera, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna rob you of the opportunity of seeing my face. But of course, Jesse, you're back out of LA. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Just
chilling.
doing my thing here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Just parking lot pimping. You understand me?
Parking lot pimping. You can't say that to a guy whose van is called the pedo van.
Like, listen, you're like really like fucking in LA or something, right, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm legit in LA.
Do you ever get approached by like hookers and shit?
Late at night, yes.
I mean, but not during the day. You don't get like the midtown rush. That's a big time here in Dayton. So come 5 or 6 o'clock, those girls know they got to get the guy on the way home from work.
No, honestly, out here it's more like anywhere you stop after 10 o'clock out here in LA, you just get approached.
So it's just a time thing. After 10 o'clock, it's go time. See, we have no morals in Dayton. It's come 8 in the morning, son. Them dope fiends are out sucking them penises, getting that money, Jack.
Oh, shit, boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, we're here to talk about UFC 215. I think we're talking about everything. Let's start off with what's the biggest story that came out recently? There's not really anything really that big, right?
Oh, no, you know what? Fuck it. Can I interject?
Do it.
Let's go. Let's talk about one of the biggest stories. Let's talk about the shit that went down. And listen, I know it seemed like old poor Uriah didn't really want to get into it, but I don't give a fuck. They done let the cat out of the bag, Jack. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about it, as the kids say. Now, for all those of you that aren't pretty, that live under a goddamn rock or haven't been on Twitter or whatever, Uriah Faber and Cody Garbrandt did the Joe Rogan Experience this week, or what was it, a couple days ago, something like that?
It was yesterday.
Okay, there you go. And they dropped all kinds of jewels, all kinds of good stuff. So if you get the time, definitely go listen to the whole podcast. But one of the more important things and more prevalent things to our MMA stratosphere is the little jewels they dropped about TJ Dillashaw and being a dirty fighter in training. Now, first off, they said that he was a dirty little prick and he done all kinds of dirty shit to all kinds of people. Cheap shots after the bell during boxing practice. They alluded to all kinds of things. But the most fucked up thing, and the thing that's at the top of the list, is what I want to talk about first. Now, first things first, let me say this, okay? Let me preface this by saying this. I was talking to a buddy about this just a minute before we went on live here. This is one side of the story. Now, I'm not saying that Uriah Faber and Cody Garbrandt are lying. They very well probably are not. It did not seem like they was lying. I will even say that Uriah Faber kind of almost went out of his way to make it seem like he didn't actually want to talk about it. So it didn't seem like they were lying. That being said, this is just one side of a story against a couple guys who technically don't like TJ Dillashaw. So take that for what it's worth. I don't want to crucify this guy without even hearing what he says as a rebuttal. Now, that being said, we all know Chris Holdsworth has been injured for a while now. It's been a while since we've seen Chris Holdsworth in the cage. Now, Cody Garbrandt and Uriah Faber told a little story about a time where Chris Holdsworth and TJ Dillashaw were rolling in practice. Now, Chris Holdsworth is a BJJ guy, as we all know. His BJJ's top notch. So the way they explained the story is they were doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu drills where Chris Holdsworth is going to get the better of TJ. Now, on this particular day, they say that Chris Holdsworth choked TJ Dillashaw out. Obviously, he caught him in a choke. TJ's being a cute guy, didn't tap. He chokes him unconscious. Now, what they say happened was that after TJ woke up, he stood up, got pissed off that he had been put to sleep, and kneed Chris Holdsworth in the back of the head while he was still sitting on the ground. like hardcore style, to the point where it fucked him up, to the point where he still hasn't fought and may never fight again. So again, we've only heard Cody Garbrandt and Uriah Faber's side of the story. They're not big TJ Dillashaw fans. There's a big fight coming up. Not to call them liars, but they would have the reason to bend the truth a little. We don't know. Maybe Chris Holdsworth held the choke too long. Not saying he did. I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, you have to keep in perspective. This is just one side of the story. I know I'm being a bit long-winded here, but I'm just painting the picture. All that being said, if that is true, TJ Dillashaw is one of the biggest fucking cunts to ever grace an MMA gym. That is the most disgraceful thing I've ever heard of. So again, we don't know that it's true, but if it is true, first off, if you guys hadn't heard of that, now that you have, what do you guys think about that? Let's just, like I said, for the sake of argument, let's say that what they said was true and that it did happen the way they explained it. What does that change your opinion of dude, or that's pretty crazy shit, man. What do you guys think about that?
Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's the thing. TJ Dillashaw has admitted himself that he is kind of a hothead and he goes really hard in sparring. He said that he has beat up a lot of his sparring partners. He has admitted, and his coach have both said just about the same, that he's aggressive, and he goes a little bit too hard sometimes. They have to reel him in. So due to the fact that even he has admitted that he has to be reeled in sometimes, I tend to believe everything that, Uriah and Garbrandt were talking about, because it goes along with the narrative of, hey, sometimes we have to tell this guy to calm down in training because we're just training. We ain't trying to hurt each other. And even before TJ left Team Alpha Male, before all these problems happened, Uriah Faber had talked about how TJ was really aggressive in the room, and that, they always had to tell him to relax. He would always overreact to things when he would lose, but they always pointed to that as being the reason why he would be successful in MMA, because he has that spirit of, if you beat me, I'm going to come back and beat you no matter what it takes. I'm going to learn from what you did to me, and I'm going to come back and beat you. Now, this whole hitting behind the head and stuff, honestly, I'm a pretty competitive guy, man. And if I can get an edge one way or another, I mean, I think pretty much anybody that's as competitive as that, even to that extreme, those guys will try to edge out whatever they can. Sometimes they take it too far. And that, to me, is exactly what we're listening to here in these stories. I mean, I just think it's a guy that's so competitive, he never wants to lose any second of any round of anything. And once you take that away from him, I mean, he's probably going to, punch you in the face when you're not looking, maybe pour some steroids in your drink so you pop. I don't know, man. He seems like the type of guy that is that way.
Or knee you, I'm sorry, Jesse, or knee you in the back of the fucking head. I mean, yeah, come on. I get it, but that is just, what the fuck, man?
But you're saying, you're basing that TJ is a good guy, right? I mean, that's the picture that he's kind of painted for himself, right? That he's a good guy. He's not really like a dick. He's trying to be this and this and that. But when you hear the stories about the things he does to his teammates, he bloodies people's, blackens people's eyes, he takes it too far. That, to me, is right in line with somebody that would knee somebody in the back of the head for putting him out. Just because he's so competitive and would get so pissed off and so aggravated that he can't do anything about what just happened, that he would take it to that next level to hurt somebody.
Don't get me wrong. For the record, I do believe Cody Garbrandt. I did believe the story. It seemed genuine, and exactly like you said, Jesse. I mean, listen, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? We ain't seen Chris Holdsworth. The fool is hurt. And I could be wrong here, but I don't think they ever really gave us a reason, right? It was one of those weird undisclosed things where he just kind of got hurt and didn't come back for a while. So
no, they said he's had concussion protocol due to the fact of wrestling practice, I think is what they said at that time.
Well, there you go. Sounds like some bullshit to me. For the record, I do believe their story. I just hate to fucking, take one side of something and run with it. But yeah, that's. I mean, he definitely doesn't strike me as per se a good guy. I just didn't know he'd be the type of prick to do something like that, man. That's just some, listen, man, I don't care what John Jones does. I'm notorious for letting you know that I try not to judge fuckers by their outside the cage antics, by liking them as a fighter or not. But I got to say, man, something about this, like I was low-key rooting for TJ and kind of thought he was going to win and was pulling for him. I low-key don't fuck with him at all now. I mean, this story really rubbed me the wrong way. That is a very cunty move to do to your teammate, man, and your BJJ like, that's just got to go against every protocol in any fucking normal gym across this fucking planet. What the fuck?
Shit, easily, man. Look, every gym that I ever trained at, it was always like, look, we're sparring, but we're teammates, right? Yeah. You guys take care of each other. In jiu-jitsu, it's you don't crank the arm bar, you don't crank kimuras, you don't crank the heel hook and anything like that. You do it and you crank slowly. You know what I mean? You start going just little by little, and then they tap and it's over. Now in that shit, look, TJ's always kind of made him make himself look as like, oh, I'm a really good guy and I'm a great teammate. But there was always rumblings, right? You always heard whispers here and there about him being a shitty teammate and a shitty person and taking it probably like way too far in practice. So this is just kind of, I guess, confirms those rumors. And what blew my mind about it was even to that point, Faber and Team Alpha Male, they did their best to not let this come out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just like you said, Faber was very hesitant, yesterday during the podcast to let it out. Rogan kind of pushed him on it, and Cody said, "Fuck it, fuck this guy." You know what I mean? He let it out, but it was a
good
weird. Oh no, for sure. No, you got to let people know about it, right? And now I wonder. I mean, I don't know if I'm looking up right now as we speak. I wonder if TJ has said anything about it.
But to me, doesn't that kind of lend to the credibility of Uriah Faber? Like, Uriah has never been the guy to make up stuff. You've never heard of people saying, "Oh, well, Uriah's a liar. He said this, but that's not true." Like, Uriah, when he says something, he's careful enough to say what it is, whether he likes to talk about it or not. Like the whole Dwayne situation, you saw how he really didn't really give too much details, but gave enough to where kind of people can piece, everything together, that it's more of like a disagreement between them two, and it was never about TJ is what he kept making it a fact, even to the point where, like you guys said, he went out to try and defend TJ. They even were like, yeah, he was our teammate. He really, Cody, it just seems like when friends have a falling out, and even though you may not agree with what happened, you guys still try to look out for each other. And it just feels that way to me. It just feels like they just don't want this to be like something where they can never, interact with each other or be friends anymore. Because even Uriah said, right? Like if he wanted to come back, bury the hatchet, whatever, he's like, yeah, he's fine. I could deal with that. But it's all those things put together to me that makes it much more of a credible story.
Definitely. Real quick, let me do some shout outs here from the YouTube comments. UC, what up? Liam, of course, on here. Early and on, and even though we weren't on time. Gun Death, shout out to Gun Death. Gary Cosin was good. Not surprised, MFZX. He says this. He goes, apparently he's from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Watching, give me a shout out, please. Hey, thanks for tuning in from the fucking Congo, dude. Good shit.
I'm not surprised. Wonder who he's a fan of.
Exactly. Mike Jars, what up, brother? Fucking always. Mike's the shit, dude. He always tunes in. Thanks for coming on, dude. Raider, what's going on? And everyone's talking about how everyone about TJ trying to pick a fight. So not surprised that TJ trying to pick a fight with a smaller guy in DJ. Real men step up. So fuck TJ. It's an honest opinion. There you go.
Hey, listen, I kind of wanted to see that fight, so I'm not going to fucking welch on that whole idea. But listen, I gotta say, who out there is still a TJ fan at this point? Like, is anybody still riding with TJ, or have we all pretty much turned on him universally at this point?
It seems like most people have turned on him, right?
Yeah, but I think also the fact that all the little tangible things that he's done, like the thing they pointed out yesterday, where now he's embraced the snake thing, right? The snake moniker thing, and he uses that as his logo and stuff. I think he's treading into that DC category where he's trying really hard likable, and people are just going to turn on him. You know, and I think his best option at this point is just kind of shut up and just kind of do his thing, especially when he was going after, you know, DJ. I think he alienated a lot of people in that sense as well.
Yeah, look, man. And people are saying in the comments, Rose saying, how can he be considered such an asset to Elevation with this shit? I've heard that reputation, though. It's, I don't know, dude. It's fucking TJ at this point to me. He always came off looking bad, right? He always looked like awkward on the show when Conor McGregor was like, oh, it's a snake in the grass, a snake in the grass. I was just like, you know, TJ's not really defending himself. Is he afraid of Conor or you know, is there a little bit of admission there? Now, when when Faber described about TJ telling them that he was going to leave, it was like they were hearing rumors of him going over to, you know, Colorado, over to Team Elevation. And, you know, TJ literally said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, he said that to him. I'm Team Alpha Male. I'm good. And then apparently they were all having dinner and shit. And TJ just goes, hey, man, you know, Elevation offered me some money and I'm gonna be over there, you know, full time, and I'm gonna be on their team, but also come back and train with you guys. To where, you know, Faber was like, "Fuck out of here with that bullshit." Yeah, no, fuck that. I mean, Faber made a good point. They have all little guys. They're all in TJ's division, right? We're talking about top 5 guys. You're gonna let a guy that's on your guys are more likely gonna have to fight, like Cody coming up at 217. You know, you really gonna want that guy to come in here and spar with your guys? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. That's not happening. So.
Nah, man, you ain't on the team no more, bro. You ain't part of the team. Like, if you ain't part of the team, you ain't part of the team, bro. You can't come in and fucking train with us like once every couple months or whenever you fucking feel like it, just enough to spy on us. Like,
yeah,
nah, dog.
Doesn't that kind of fit into the narrative that we're being told to make it more like believable, in the sense that that's only a move that somebody that's trying to get any edge possible would do. You don't hear Conor McGregor wanting to go to, you know, Novo Niao. You don't hear Mayweather, you know, Mayweather. You don't hear other top level fighters going to a different camp to go train with, you know, who they might fight in the future, you know? So to me, it kind of fits the narrative of that kind of, you know, really, really shady person that would do these kind of things to other people and is looking for any competitive edge.
Tell you what. If TJ had any kind of smarts about him now, he'd just fucking turn full hill, Jack. It's time to pull a fucking NWO move from the motherfucking WCW days, Jack. It's time because at this point he ain't gonna bring it back. Like that story was not good for his reputation, and as far as our community goes, like it's gonna be hard to like. I imagine him getting booed hard on that walkout now. Like I think this is, especially like I said, man, that story about Chris Holdsworth, that shit is not going to be received well. Who wants to train with dude now? Like that's no fucking bueno for dude in a lot of ways, man. I think the fucking whole MMA community is going to kind of fucking collectively take a fucking piss on TJ for this one, Jack.
Yeah, and then Rose is asking, what's the beef with Ludwig? You know, Dwayne Bang Ludwig. Does he have some reputation like TJ? Because a lot of people seem to hate him too. From what Faber said on the podcast, the beef with him between them two was that
money.
It was just money. Yeah.
Which that makes sense, kind of. I mean, Dwayne seems like an all right guy. Not like I know that fool personally, but from what I can gather from interviews and shit, he seems okay. But money brings out the worst in all of us, man. And if he felt like he was worth something, that Faber was kind of like, nah, bro. Like I could see, I could see why 2 reasonable people could come to a disagreement on money. So that seems reasonable on Uriah's behalf to say that it was just kind of a money thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it has to be.
What I know about that situation, the little info I know about it, not like details about it, but like Fred said, had these 2 parties had just come together, Uriah and Dwayne, and talked about it before it got to the point where it got, they probably could have solved that issue very easily.
Oh, for sure.
But apparently, it's a very easy conversation to have, but they just never had it. They just never had the conversation to solve the problem. Which, like you said, Fred, that happens, man. Sometimes you just can't get to that conversation, and hey, you don't hear Dwayne talking crap about Team Alpha Male really. It's mostly against Uriah. And Uriah really has kept his mouth shut about Dwayne anyway. So it's like, at least those two guys have kept it, pretty respectable. So, I mean, I think it's just turning ugly now with all these stories coming out for TJ.
Yeah, look, man, and the thing about this whole, I don't know, because Raider says, yeah, I wonder why TJ hasn't come out to dispute it, because TJ don't seem he don't come up as that bright. I don't know about you guys, but he doesn't come up as like a very quick-witted guy. And I'm just wondering what he's thinking. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're goddamn right. He's thinking. I was about to say that's exactly what the fuck he's doing. He's probably thinking, and he's probably having a couple people that are smarter than him think too. I mean, he needs to really, I don't know, man. He needs to play his cards right. He needs to really think about what he says next. Because, like I said, man, this is no bueno, man. These accusations are not cool, man, and it's shit that people are going to really fucking kind of look down. It's almost like you got to be a closet TJ fan. How could you be in the MMA community and still take up for TJ at this point? Like, if this turns out to be true, him cheap shot guys and beating up guys in practice that can't defend themselves, like, he's a bully, man. He's a big fat meanie. What the fuck?
But if you notice, like, his social media has just kind of been more of like, DraftKings and just sponsors and just training, right? Like, it's not really. He's not going to address the situation, obviously. He's just going to kind of let it go. And good old Chael Sonnen always says you got to steer into these problems, right? You gotta get right in front of him, and he's not doing that. So, like Fred said, this is going to be really bad for him later on.
Yeah, Gundes saying that TJ's dumb as a hammer wrapped in lettuce. I've never heard that before. Hey, that's good.
I've never heard that before either. That's very dumb.
Yeah. Rose says, are the steroid rumors going to come up again as well? And they also say John Jones is a terrible sparring partner. What steroid rumors with TJ? Did you guys? Is there steroid rumors with TJ?
Always. I mean, it's always around that whole camp.
I haven't heard.
Alpha male.
I haven't heard any about Cody, so I would imagine it's TJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense. So as far as this goes, like, I mean, I'm with Jesse on this, Fred. I'm with Jesse with this. This is about to turn into some, DC John Jones type of shit, to where TJ's gonna look really bad, right?
I think it's worse than that, though, man. I mean, what did DC ever do wrong except for being kind of annoying? True. This is a cunt move, man. This is universally, like, unless he like comes out and says I didn't do that, or even then it don't look good for him, but. This is a little different for me, man. I feel like TJ is really going to catch the flag on this one. I suppose they're not as high-profile names, so you'll still have people who go TJ who, one way or the other. But as far as our little community goes, people who follow this kind of thing, I mean, TJ, this is not a good look, bruh. Killed it for me. But I can only speak for myself personally. After I heard it, I've got a slightly different outlook on that dude now. And I don't do that usually. I don't care if you do coke and bang whores, or if you're an asshole, if you don't like signing autographs, if you don't like little punk-ass snot-nosed kids. I don't care about none of that bullshit. But, I mean, if you're the type of cunt that fucking cheap shots your BJJ coach in the back of the fucking head because he just got a choke on you, like I alluded to with the John Jones and the cheating thing, man, this is martial arts. There should be a cunt hair's worth of honor in this shit, man. Yeah.
Raider says that TJ has roid nipples. He
does got grossly long nipples, doesn't he?
He got roid nipples. That just sounds funny. What the fuck? I never even paid attention. All right.
It's actually true.
What's that?
I said, is that a thing?
Yeah, dude.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's
elongate your nips.
Yeah, that's what they call it, bitch tits, if you do roids for too long.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's move on to another. This is welterweight. Ben Askren is retiring after his next fight. I know what my reaction was. So, what's your reaction, Fred?
Yeah, fucking. I wish we could play fucking GIFs. Cue me doing the Carlton. I wish I could say I don't give a fuck in Japanese. Konnichiwa, cocksucker. That's what you get. I mean, listen.
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt.
What are we supposed? What are we supposed to? I mean, I fucking can't stand this guy a little bit. I would have been curious to see how good he actually was, but he's such a smart, smug little prick that took off the fucking ONE FC and thought he was doing. I mean, listen, man, maybe he did get paid, right? Maybe he got paid some good money. He crushed a bunch of cans and he's going to retire with more money than I'll ever make and fuck me, right? Maybe so. And if that's the case, then good for you, buddy. But as far as having any integrity in our sport or any kind of real legitimacy, I mean, he's got like a couple wins. What he beat, like Douglas Lima and, you know, a couple other cats back in his Bellator days that you know, actually kind of stand up. But since he's got the one, he's fought nobody. He's about to fight Shinya Aoki in his retirement fight. Shinya Aoki ain't beat nobody relevant since he fucking heel hooked Eddie Alvarez back in Dream. Fucking, you know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever the fuck. Like, Shinya Aoki's a fucking lightweight. I mean, come on, man. This is, you know, I think Ben Askren's a talented guy, but he's annoying as fuck. You know, he thought he was. He thought he was sticking it to everybody. I'm going to ONE FC. Fuck you, Dana White. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. Blah 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 blah. I mean, I guess, bruh. But what did it get you? And now he comes out and tells everybody he's retiring. What, are we supposed to fucking feel sorry or upset? You chose to go to fucking Bangkok, China, and fight ass fuck losers for 4 years, man. You was the one bragging about that decision a couple years ago. So, you know, with the utmost respect, go fuck yourself, Ben Askren. I mean, hopefully maybe this is some ploy and like he's going to do this and he's going to slide into Bellator or some shit next year or something. But if he's actually retiring, fuck you, dude, for not even letting us, you know, now we have no idea how good you ever was because you never became, you know, now we'll never know. Fuck you, dude. I'm glad you're retiring.
So he was Bellator champ for a long time, and then he left the ONE FC. They tried to get him to the UFC, but apparently he wasn't happy with the deals he was, you know, being offered.
Oh yeah, no. Which he was cunty.
What do you expect, Jesse?
No, wait, whoa! What are you guys talking about? I get it. You guys suck at the teat of Dana White, and you guys have just like forgotten that whole situation. Let me remind you guys what happened. Ben Askren came to the table to UFC ready to sign. What did Dana White say? You haven't beaten anybody yet. Go fight at World Series of Fighting. Get 2-3 more fights there, and then we'll sign you.
Suppose that's what he should have done.
Maybe should.
Wait. You are the best at 170, unbeaten. You're a champion in Bellator, and they expect you to go to World Series of Fighting to fight who?
Jesse.
Wait. Now you're still undefeated. All right. And Dana White would still not crack open his wallet to pay this guy to come over. This is a travesty to MMA because, like you guys have said, this guy, we will never know how good he was. We'll never know. He might have been the best ever. He might have put a whooping on Tyron Woodley. We don't know, right? We will never, ever know. Why? Because Dana White decided that Mr. Askren over here, just because he has a big mouth and wanted to get paid what he thought was his value, was not worth it. Yet a guy like CM Punk, Sage Northcutt, you know, any of the other guys from the Contender Series, you know, with little records, no real fights underneath them. Not to disrespect those guys, but I'm saying none of those guys are even half as good as Askren. And yet they got into the UFC without a problem. So to me, this is a travesty. This sucks. I was hoping that once his contract ran out, the UFC would, you know, I don't know, like they would tell Dana White not to be in the negotiations and good, you know, Ari Emanuel or whatever would come down, make the negotiations and have him fight in the UFC. At least to even prove that he might have been one of the best. Yeah. Now we'll never get to see that.
Ari Emanuel thought that Amanda Nunes was cannon fodder for Ronda Rousey. He's not going to know who the fuck Ben Askren is. I'm sorry.
Listen. Now listen. Just calm the fuck down for just a second there, Jesus. That was a cute little thing you just did there. It was a cute little rant you went on, and I appreciate some of it. But now I'm going to give you a little perspective here, my dude. How many fucking top level fighters have not been able to get the deal done with DW?
Top? Like what do you consider top?
Top tier, cocksucker. How many people have not been able to figure it out? How many people have went the way of Ben Askren and have not went to the UFC? I'll save you some time. One. Fyodor Emelianenko is the only other cocksucker sucking oxygen who has not found a way to do a deal with Dana White. Now, I think Ben Askren could have figured it out. I think he just was cute and thought, fuck you. I'm not. How dare you send me to listen? Yeah, he was the champion of Bellator back in 1992 when nobody knew what the fuck Bellator was. It meant next to nothing. And since he is a mouthy twat, yeah, you do got to fucking jump through a hoop. Should have just fought the fight one fight in WSOF, win the belt, come back to the table, maybe eat just a little bit of humble pie, stop with that fucking mouth all the time, and get yourself a deal and prove something. Like, what did he prove by doing this? I mean, I suppose he made some money, but he fucked himself into obscurity forever.
I get what you're saying, Fred, but let's say that you're good at your job, and then somebody comes and goes, hey, wait, I want you to go clean toilets for a year before you can get this other job. All right? When you know your damn self that you are well worth, not being able to do that, you're way above that situation. You're going to tell me that you're going to be like, well, I guess since I want this great job, I'm going to do a year of cleaning, toilets every day for minimum wage, blah, 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 blah. No, you're not going to do that. Don't even pretend to say that you're going to do that. Because if you have...
Are you fucked?
Listen to me. You have the opportunity to prove that you can get a job somewhere else, get paid much more than they're offering you at the moment. You're not going to go take that job?
No, because you just nailed it. Getting paid that much at the moment. I mean, listen, the big picture is always the UFC. You got to keep that in mind. I mean, no matter what, like I said, what did he prove by doing this? Now he's getting Shinya Aoki in his retirement fight, and who gives a fuck, Bangkok, China? He should have jumped through the hoops, man. I mean, it is kind of, listen, all in all fairness, I get what you're saying. That was stupid. They should have signed him. He deserved it at that point. But the smart move, the big play, the long run is getting the UFC and then stick it to look at cocksucking Tito. That big fucking stupid fucking blonde dome of his. Him and Dana White hated each other, but once you're there and you win, you can kind of roll, but you gotta, he needed to get in there, man. And I felt like him just, listen, man. A little bit of fighting against the system, we all kind of like and enjoy, Rage Against the Machine, man. We love it. But I think there's a point of diminishing returns to where you just kind of got to, okay, at this point, shut up now. Just shut up now and win a fight or two and get in the UFC. It's a bit of a bummer, but listen, fuck DW. This was my point before about saying that everybody else has got a deal done. There's been plenty of guys that didn't like Dana White. You know what you do? You go to the Fertittas. And at that point, if you can't figure out nothing with none of them, maybe you're like the old fucking widow who's been married 5 or 6 times. Or it's you, not them. Maybe his requests were a little out of touch with what he brought to the table. The CM Punk comparisons aren't really fair. It brings, hundreds of thousands of dollars to the promotion. Fucking Sage Northcutt looks like a Ken doll.
That's true. And I understand that point. But then also you have to understand that at that point, they also had, what's his name? Michael Jackson, that MMA writer at 0-0 fighting in the UFC as well. When, and this is telling Ben Askren to his face, you haven't fought anybody. You're not worth being in the UFC. You're not ready yet. Yet an 0-0 guy, 2 0-0 guys were in the UFC signed at that point. I mean, you have to see how, like, on his end, it would look like, what the hell do you want me to do? You want me to go to some B promotion and not earn what I'm worth? Because over at One Championship, he got paid handsomely. Not only that, but he was a superstar over there. You realize that market is millions of people. Every time they have an event, it's millions of people tune in. I get it. There's millions of people over there, but I mean, there's millions of people that watch those events over there. They're very popular over there in that Asian market, and they've cracked that egg pretty well.
Oh, stop it. There's also millions of people that don't give a fuck about ONE FC in our sphere. Yeah. We could have the goddamn whole fucking ONE FC roster on this program tonight, and we'd get 13 more people to tune in.
Fucking, I'm gonna try to get some of those guys on just to see what happens.
We should. They're probably really easy to get.
I'll reach out. Fuck it. There's a couple ones I want to talk to. All right, real quick, Jesse, you're kind of on by yourself on an island here. Gundeath says Ben can fuck all the way off. Raider says, oh shit, I lost it. Fucking A. Where the fuck did that go? No, I'll have to wait now. Oh, says, Raider says people dick ride him like no tomorrow. That's true. They do dick ride Ben Askren quite a bit. Yeah, he is going to be an executive for ONE FC now. I don't know what the fuck they're going to have him doing, but whatever. Gundeath says, I still don't give a fuck about Ben, though. But he did say that Jesse kind of has a point. Kind of. Somewhat. Look,
I get it. I get it, you guys. He's not a likable character, right? He's not the type of guy that you feel bad for. You're like, oh, shucks, too bad he didn't get his opportunity. He's a dick. Yes, I get it. But his skills are something that could have been wonderful to see in the UFC that would have elevated our 170-pound division. What do we have right now? A guy that hits hard and says that he's the greatest champion ever and is not? I mean, he could have elevated our division one way or another, in my opinion. I don't care about the person. Just like Fred, you can separate Coke John Jones from the fighter John Jones. It's the same thing for me. Asshole Ben Askren to fighter Ben Askren. Two different personalities.
Listen, that's why I kind of can't stand the little cocksucker. I actually kind of like him. He's a fuckwad, but I like those type personalities. He makes you form an opinion one way or the other. I would have loved to see, and quite frankly, if I'm being 1,000% honest, I think he beats Tyron Woodley. Real talk. I do think he wins that fight. I think it's boring as fuck. I think he's fucking GSP 8.0, and that his fights are fucking NyQuil. Real talk. Yeah. But I think that he's very, very, very good at what he does, and I think he'd out-wrestle fuck the shit out of Tyron Woodley. If Tyron Woodley didn't knock him out in the first 2 or 3 minutes, I think Ben Askren would be on him like white on rice the whole time. But that's why I'm so annoyed with him. It's like Fedor. Fedor, I love you. What the fuck you doing? You're breaking my heart. You pricks just never fucking make your way there. At least, you know, with all the other guys, at some point we saw them in the UFC, right? They had their go. Something didn't happen, whatever. But there's like that very small group of people, like I said, basically Fedor and now Ben Askren, who might have lived their whole career, even like Mayhem Miller. I mean, everybody at some point kind of makes their way over, man, if need be. And Ben Askren definitely has the talent to be there, but because he's so hard-headed and, you know, rages so fucking hard against the machine, he pretty much wasted his career in obscurity, man. It's kind of, I'll give you this, Jesse. It's a bummer. Like the legit MMA fan in me, it is kind of, you know, gay that we didn't get to either see him get knocked out for that mouth or see how good he truly was. And we won't now.
And that's my point. That's my point. It's just a travesty that a talent like that couldn't have gotten it together, and they couldn't have come together to get him in there. I mean, even Chris Cyborg, who we thought would never get into the UFC, you know, eventually figured it out. You know, I was held hope that Ben Askren would be the guy that they would eventually get in there. I mean, you know, and I get it. I mean, you guys, you have to understand that his style of fighting is kind of like one of those that isn't exciting to watch. Yet, he's only had 5 decisions out of his 17 wins. You know, 5 decisions. That's pretty damn good, in my opinion, man. I just think that talent could have been in the UFC, and it could have been something that we would have enjoyed watching.
We'll see. We got to move on now. But real quick, because this is one of my favorites right here. Gary Costa says DW offered him an internship. That might be my favorite one so far. That shit was hilarious. And then everyone's talking about Cody Covington. Is it Cody? Colby?
Colby Covington, yeah. What about him?
Apparently he's talking shit or to Tyron Woodley. Says He called UC says that Covington said he called T Wood a fake champ and said something about how Woodley would shoot a deer but not have the balls to finish him off. What does that even mean?
Sounds a little weird, but listen, he's a good kid. He's a smart kid for going straight for the champ like that. I mean, at the end of the day, fucking closed mouths don't get fed, Jack. You got to put it out in the fucking universe for it to happen. So if you're going to talk shit to anybody in the division, might as well be the fucking champ. Go straight for the top.
Oh, man. They're getting straight mean. This is getting funny. Real quick. Rose says, what the fuck? Colby Covington is so full of shit. He probably talks shit about being a rat for Dana. To which Raider says, Colby couldn't finish off Dana under the coffee table. Fuck that guy.
Ooh, that's rough.
Hey, she got she Raider spit fire. I gotta give her credit, but still, it was funny shit. Like
I was just fixing to say his game could use a little injection of activity per se with the puck. He's a bit boring to be running that mouth the way he does.
Yeah, so and then Rose says, nah, DW is in the Connor's table. I wonder if he had to break out his red panties. That got weird. All right. Let's move on here. That totally like all the Kobe talk about him not being able to finish DW under the table is hilarious. Oh, and then Mike Jarv says, let's not forget that Bellator cut Askren for being one-dimensional, aka boring. That's the popular opinion about Askren, to be honest with you. But you know, it's weird. By the way, an Askren and Tyron Woodley fight, 99% sure would not happen because they're friends, like really good friends. So it's
that makes sense. Maybe they get together and make plots on how to be more boring with one another. Cocksuckers.
Pretty much, they kind of do. I mean, fucking you seen T Wood's last couple fights, not too exciting.
Can we get a fucking exciting welterweight? GSP, Tyron Woodley, fucking Ben Askren, the division of the fucking hopeless.
Where the fuck is Nick Diaz?
Yeah,
God damn it, Nick. Fuck. Anyway, UC, thank you. You actually already called out my next topic. UC says, guys, Ronda and WWE and Dead Skull. Did you guys see that awful little like 30-second thing they did for WWE?
Nope, wouldn't watch it. I seen a little preview or the promotion thing for it, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it. Yeah, whatever, man.
Skip it. It's not worth it. It's the most cringeworthy thing I've seen in like a couple months at least. Like she fucking it's the 3 of the 4 horsewomen or whatever. It's not Shayna Baszler, who's a legit wrestler. It's Rousey, the tall one that used to be a model but decided she thought she could fight, and then Marina Shafir, right? So it's those 3, and then 3 wrestling chicks come up, and then they're like doing like a stare down. Rousey takes her little string backpack off and says some bullshit like, yeah, usually says it anytime, any place, and then they stare at each other for a while, but it was like so cringe. I cringed so bad because it was Jessamine Duke. Thank you, Rose. But it was just bad, dude. Jesse, you saw that shit.
I didn't.
You didn't see it?
Look, anything related to somebody that's out of the UFC, out of the MMA game, I don't care. I really don't have time for this.
You know what? You need a nickname, and Jesse, the real hardcore. That's what that is.
I was gonna say, most of the time, Jesse, I consider you a functioning retard, but you nailed it there, my dude. Fucking goddamn, I don't give 2 wet farts about Ronda and the WWE. Like, if the old girl gets the tits back to come back and make a shot at the real deal, we'll be here waiting on her, and I'll be interested if she actually books a real fight. But as far as her participating in the WWE, I ain't gave a shit about the WWE since The Rock became an actor.
Exactly. That's when I started watching. But not even worth talking about Ronda fighting. It looks like she has no intention of fighting anybody, so fucking it's probably over. All right, let's talk about something that could actually happen. The talk right now, first of all, and I gotta preface this by saying that John Kavanaugh came out and said that it's unlikely that Conor McGregor fights this year, right? And I would have to agree with him, but at the same time, fucking that Nate Diaz, the trilogy fight, that's got to be the move. And I think Owen Roddy, his striking coach, is the guy that he actually said that's the next fight they want. What are you thinking there, Fred? I mean, fuck, that's got to be the one.
I mean, listen, man, there's a couple things to digest with this. You're right. At this point, listen, if they're doing fucking Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee for the fucking interim belt, which it all fucking seems like that's what's going on, then yeah, who the fuck else is Conor going to fight? If presumably he's not boxing that fucking Paulie prick, if he's coming back to MMA, I mean, I guess it's got to be this. This is the biggest fight. It's the money fight. It's a good fight. You know, I guess you can completely throw order and rankings out the window if you give Nate Diaz a title shot after all this time. But I mean, listen, man, this is MMA. This is what we do, man. We're still figuring our sport out, to be honest with you. And we're kind of making up the rules as we go. We just got bought out by a fucking corporate company. They're switching things up a little bit. Everybody try to not get your fucking panties too much out of the knot, man. You know, like, it's a good fight. I don't love it. What I would like to see is Khabib Conor. That's what I think makes the most sense. That's what but it doesn't matter. The MMA gods don't give a fuck what Freddie wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, Khabib's getting blood transfusions in fucking Germany or whatever the fuck. We've got Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson fighting for an interim belt. Neither one of those cats really pack enough star power to justify the fight with Conor. And then we got Nate creeping in the background with a trilogy who holds a win over Conor and who is legit as fuck in the division. He does not deserve that fight by any fucking stretch of the imagination, but one could not argue that he's not competitive. And quite frankly, for all of me, Ferguson, Kevin Lee, Khabib, and Nate, I still think that Nate has the best chance to beat Conor. Because as we saw in Conor's little boxing endeavor, his one Achilles heel is that goddamn gassing. You know, could he get taken down for one round and eventually land a punch on Khabib? For sure. Tony Ferguson is going to try to strike with him. I think that ends detrimental for sure. And Kevin Lee, you know, I don't even really know what the fuck to make of him yet. I mean, he's cute and all, but he is a real up-and-comer. Like, I would definitely not favor him against Conor at this point. So one could argue that Nate's got the best shot to beat Conor anyways, man. So fuck it. Let's do the damn thing, whether it's, you know, before the end of the year or – and listen, here's the thing, right? They say he's not going to fight in 2017. Right. If he doesn't, I think it's in the very first part of next year, right? So maybe they don't get it in this year, but I wouldn't doubt that if it's January or February at that point.
I mean, hey, Conor's going to get a chance to speak pretty soon. He has another one of those pay-per-view interviews coming out, this time with Dan Hardy.
I can dig that, but still.
Here's the funny part. Apparently, the company that was supposed to pay Ariel Helwani to do that other one never paid him.
Ha ha! Suck it, Helwani.
He went on Twitter bitching about it. Like, hey, well, if you're a journalist and you took money, you know, being a hater. Anyway, all right. Regardless, so yeah, dude, they're actually gonna pay another pay-per-view fucking interview. Fucking
what do you want to see, fucking Jesse? Do you want to see the Nate trilogy, or I mean, like, what do you think's going to happen? What do you want to see happen?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, if I'm correct in my assumption, I think we're only going to see Conor for one more fight, and I think it should be that trilogy fight just to cap off his career there. If we're going to see him longer, I mean, that's still the perfect fight to bring him back to the UFC, right? I mean, he just had an epic 10-round fight with Mayweather. I mean, it's perfect for him to come back to the UFC and finish that trilogy and then see what happens after there, what shakes out, because you're already making a interim title, like you guys said. I mean, so why not just sit on that interim title, have that fun fight, and then, you know, unite the title or drop it and then just make that guy the champion or whatever, you know? There's so many ways that you can, you know, finish this off here, but it all starts with whether Conor is going to continue fighting or if he's just going to come back for one more fight.
As far as Conor goes,
yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Look, he's got fuck you money, so is what it is. All right. Anything else on this? Or you guys gonna move on?
No, we can move on.
All right, cool. Real quick on you guys remember Yoshihiro Takayama?
Rings a bell.
Yeah, he's the one that remember that Dom Fry fight where they grab each other by the side of the head doing this. I didn't know he was fucking I didn't know he was paralyzed. So
shit, I didn't either.
Yeah, apparently DDT Pro Wrestling out of Japan is started a Takayama Mania, which is the foundation for him. And I'm getting all this stuff at bloodyelbow.com. They have an article up on it, so if you guys want to go there and check it out. But they're actually raising money for him because he's paralyzed. Turns out, this is from the article, quote, Takayama, who wrestled as recently as May of this year, he's a pro wrestler now, and last fought in MMA in 2013, injured his cervical spinal cord during a match at DDT Pro Wrestling Toyaka Games on May 4th. Takayama, 50 years old, was paralyzed from the neck down. So,
God damn.
50 years old, God, dude, fucking hey, man. That just the wars that he had in MMA and then still pro wrestling, dude. That's fucking crazy. But he fucked his neck back, so. Yeah,
that's fucked
up. Gunda says that was a while back, so I guess it's been a minute. But yeah. Anyway, so that's the thing. That fucking sucks. I hate reading shit like that because it's like, it's almost like you wish it would get out like just in time. You know what I mean? Anyway, all right, and then real quick, last thing here that I got, the Mayweather McGregor like in-house ticket sales is they fell way short of Mayweather Pacquiao by a lot actually, right? I fucking pull up the numbers again. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah. They said that it ended up being a lot less than they had projected. It seems like everything ends up being a lot less than they projected with this cocksucker. At first, it was 6.5 million pay-per-view buys, and now they're talking about like the mid-4s or some shit like that, and it might go up or something. I don't know, man. Like, this was front page news and shit, but what is there really to dissect here, right? Like, those pricks lied about what they made at the gate. They probably still made a fuckload of money. We know the pay-per-view numbers are going to be solid. So maybe it wasn't the biggest pay-per-view ever, but it definitely sold over like 4 million for sure. So, I don't know. Whatever. Promoters lie. That, you know what I'm saying? That Leonard Ellaby prick that was running around saying that like they sold out. He's basically the Dana White of Floyd Mayweather's camp. So take from that what you will. I mean, we know these cats lie and shit. So, I don't know. Yeah. I guess we kind of called them in one, but it ain't all that surprising to keep it funky.
Yeah, so basically the live gate for the McGregor Mayweather fight made 55.4 million in ticket sales, and Mayweather Pacquiao did 72 million. It's like way less. So I mean,
that is way less. That is way less. But I think, listen, I think they overpriced the tickets a little bit, and maybe they overestimated the appeal of this, man. Maybe a lot of people just kind of was like, nah, bruh, I'm not paying that much for a guy that's never boxed. Like,
yeah. I mean, Jesse, tell me if you agree, because I think it was that the MMA fans, that was mostly MMA money, okay? Because I don't think boxing fans actually wanted to tune in to pay for this shit. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think that's what ended up happening. Plus the fact that pretty much what they did was they got all those guys that bought those cheap seats at the top and then brought them down so that it would look fuller. So I think it was like the last 9 rows was empty. So I mean, that's pretty bad, man. I mean, if you price something so badly that your last 9 rows to this biggest sporting event ever is empty, I mean, that's ridiculous, man. But I don't know, man. I think the smart people watched it on TV and realized that spending $100, you had the best seat in the house, better than the people that were there.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's the overprice of the tickets. There's just a lot of people who were trying to because all those websites bought them up. You know what I mean? So they could resell them for more. They overestimated the fact, the appeal of the fight, just like Fred was saying. So I don't buy it. Uzi says they definitely overpriced the tickets. I mean, so many Irish fans came to Vegas, but how many could actually afford to go to the fight? True. And what the fuck was Dana saying that it smashed 6.5 million? Shake my head. Yeah, what was the number that you heard, Fred?
That was it, 6.5 million. It was just that it's weird. It was just on like a little Instagram thing, man. It was like Snoop and whoever the fuck, and Dana White just said 6.5 million, and then Uriah like looks at the phone and goes 6.5 million. So I mean, I guess he never technically came out and said that He never made an official statement. I mean, all this is gleamed from one fucking Instagram. Maybe fucking DW was high on Molly. Who fucking knows?
He was hanging out with fucking Oscar De La Hoya, and
He's with fucking Snoop. He's probably in there blowing off his fucking ass. And $6.5 million, bruh.
Yeah, is Snoop still on that shit? They fire him after all.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was a I don't think he's been fired as far as it goes, but I don't think it was like one of those podcast things or something. It might have been actually. Maybe it was a Tuesday night type deal. I don't know.
All right.
At the Contender Series when he was talking, and he was talking to somebody else about it. Snoop Dogg apparently was kept away from everybody, the media and everybody during that last event. So who knows if he's going to come back for the next season.
Yeah, probably not. All right. That's all we got. Let's talk about UFC 215 real quick. We'll just talk about the main card. Note, Francis Ngannou against JDS, completely off the card. JDS got, popped for a diuretic, and they couldn't find a replacement for Ngannou. Unfortunately, he tried to get over him. He was like, nah, fuck that. And that's kind of it. So,
Naturally.
Unfortunately. So, moved up to the main card is Ilir Latifi against Tyson Pedro. So, started with that fight. Ilir Latifi, we know he's a bad motherfucker. Tyson Pedro is a fucking tough motherfucker too, though. Who you picking there, Fred?
Yeah, man, this is a good fight. This is actually a pretty solid card overall, actually. It's a little lackluster at the top.
Yeah.
I like Ilir, though, man. I've always kind of liked Ilir. Strong, durable guy. And, listen, man, at the end of the day, having that nice, strong wrestling base is going to be able to help. If the fucking fight's not going the way he needs it to, he can probably lean on his wrestling and fucking even make it a little dirty and ugly and win a decision if he needs to.
Yeah, Jesse?
Yeah, I think Latifi's the guy to win this fight here. Wait, did you skip a fight on the main card?
No.
Are you sure?
That's the opening fight.
Is it? I thought it was Stevens.
Hold up a second. Oh, my bad. You're right. I thought it was the other way around. All right, we'll talk about that fight next. But yeah, let's just finish this one up.
Yeah, I mean, Latifi's just that power guy. He's tough. He's durable. I don't think Pedro's got anything for him. He's probably going to get knocked out there.
Yeah, I'm taking Tyson Pedro in the upset in that case. He's 6-0, coming in young guns, and Ilir Latifi running out of time to make a run. By the way, Ilir Latifi's pretty short, right?
He's a really short guy for 205, I think.
205. But he's thick as shit. He's a big dude. So.
Oh, yeah. DC level shit.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. I wish he could move to. I mean, there's no way he's gonna move to 85, but there was like a division somewhere in there we could actually compete. Be great. All right, let's talk about Jeremy Stephens against Gilbert Melendez. Two vets, one former champion in Strikeforce. Gilbert Melendez came in the UFC, as you remember, supposed to fight for the title, didn't right away. Ended up fighting. I think he fought Anthony. Did he fight Anthony Pettis for the title ever?
It's been a long time, man.
Benson, right? And Benson beat him. So
yeah.
And Benson beat him.
Fight, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Gilbert Melendez against Jeremy Stephens. The pick's easy for me. Gilbert Melendez. Warren Melendez is gonna take this shit. Won't be easy. I think it's gonna be a crazy, scrap of a war. At least in the last round, right? The first couple rounds, Melendez likes to be, technical and actually follow a game plan. In the third round, he usually just says "fuck it." And Jeremy Stephens thrives in those, but I think he's gonna fall short in this one. Gundeath says Gibbler all day. Jesse, who are you picking?
Yeah, normally I would pick Gil here, but seeing that it's his first fight at 145, that's the only thing that kind of gives me a little bit of pause. And Stephens is a really heavy hitter, so if Gil doesn't make that weight cut properly, doesn't hydrate enough, and he gets cracked by one of those shots, I think Gil's going to go down. So I just never like picking guys trying out a new division for their first time and fighting, such a well-rounded and veteran, of the sport. So I'm going to go with Stephens, probably a TKO or a decision, either one.
All right, Fred, what are you picking?
I mean, listen, man, it's hard to pick against Gilbert Melendez in this fight. I mean, Jesse brings up some good points. It's his first cut to 45, so we don't know how that's going to go. It's been a while, I think, since we've seen him in the cage. Ring rust is real for some people. We know that tends to be a problem for some folks. And I don't know, man, Gilbert Melendez has got this weird – I get this weird Rashad Evans type vibe out of him or something, man. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I almost don't know what's going to fucking turn up in that cage. Like, part of me thinks that, you know, if he's anything like the Gill of old, he has the ability to completely steamroll Jeremy Stephens. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has the ability to take him down, pound him out, and submit him quite easily if he's kind of the guy I remember. But it feels like I haven't saw him for a long time, and he's been kind of on a slow decline. So I don't really know what to expect. I'm still going to pick him. You know, if he makes the cut right and he's half of what he used to be. You know, Jeremy Stephens has kind of one pretty specific road to win this fight. We all know he's a big striker. You know what I'm saying? If he don't land that big strike, Gill has several ways to victory here. So I'm gonna assume that he hasn't fallen completely off the cliff and he's not going to pull a Rashad Evans on us. Gilbert Melendez, second round submission.
There you go. Hey, goddamn right. Raider says, "Fuck yeah, Melendez fight is the one I'm looking forward to." Hey, those guys usually scrap, right? Both those guys like to just fucking throw the game plans out the window and just brawl. All right, moving up the card here. Neil Magny is RDA. RDA's first fight at 170. He's at a major disadvantage physically, right? Like short and all that.
Second fight at 170, right?
Who did he fight first again?
Tariq Saffiedine.
Oh yeah. Okay. This fight to me seems like RDA's got, you know, he's coming up short, and I'm no pun intended, but he's coming up short in a lot of spots. Yeah, I see a lot of people picking RDA. It's kind of weird to me. Who you picking, Fred?
I tell you what, that RDA prick, just like old Connor said he made Floyd fight like a Mexican. I give it to RDA. He made me a Neil Magny fan.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Neil in this fight, and we all know that I have a love-hate relationship with that poor prick. But I've rooted against him for so long and hope to see him lose for so long that I finally come around. Fuck it, Neil Magny. Take one for 170. RDA, you cheating prick. I've been thinking that you've been drinking the special juice for a long fucking time. And, you know, it's enough with RDA. I've never bought into RDA. I never bought the hype from that cat. So, and plus, logistically, Neil Magny's a bad matchup for RDA, in my opinion. RDA comes out like a bat out of hell. He likes to overwhelm his opponents with his striking and shit, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that at 170. And Neil Magny's like the anti-guy. You know what I mean? You don't want to have that strategy with Neil Magny or you're fucked. Because he's just going to, I mean, whatever it is about that prick, he's hard to put away. Believe me, I've been on the opposite end of Neil Magny fights wanting to see him get finished. He doesn't get finished very easily. So RDA might come out kind of strong, but I think this is a classic case of the first round belongs to RDA heavily, and then slowly but surely we see skinny-ass Neil Magny turn on the fucking jets and either get like a late third round finish or just, you know, end the fight out with him pounding on an exhausted RDA.
All right, Jesse.
Oh man, it's a tough fight for me. I just think that we've seen the best of Neil Magny, and I think he kind of left a lot of himself in that Hector Lombard fight. That beating that he took in that fight, yet he won that fight. And then that TKO stoppage from Lorenz Larkin. And his last fight, I mean, it was a very ho-hum decision against Johnny Hendricks, you know, very uncharacteristic of him. And to me, it just seems like Neil Magny has kind of his best days are behind him at this point. In the sense that I think he's taken too much damage in that octagon. So I actually think RDA is going to pull this off. It just seems like RDA is in a better place in this, you know, bigger weight division. Doesn't have to kill himself to make 155 and all that. So I think this is the cowboy thing. You know, I think he'll look good in a couple fights, but I don't know if he can be a number one contender or a champion in 170. But I think he can, you know, make some moves here in the, you know, 15-5 range. You know, somewhere around there.
Yeah, there you go. I'm taking Magny. Magny's gonna finish this fight. That's all I got.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, RDA. I don't know. I think the move to 170, while healthy for RDA for sure, because I wake up with fucking with him. Okay, Artie is the reason why I won a 165 division. Like, he's one of those guys that is not a 170 and he's not a 155er, right? That 165 division would be perfect for a guy like him. It's just, kind of sad that we're probably never going to get that division, not with the UFC anyway, unless they've said something recently that I didn't hear. All right, and moving on, the last two fights here on the card, co-main event, which is first of all, I want to ask you if you believe that should be a co-main event or should be a main event, but it's a bullet. It's currently Valentina Shevchenko against Amanda Nunes for the title. Fred, do you think it should be the main event, and who are you picking?
Nah, it shouldn't be the main event, man. Like what? Just because they fucking outweigh DJ?
Well, no, because a lot of the talk from even from the UFC itself, from Dana White, it's like, oh yeah, DJ, yeah, he sells a lot of pay-per-views. You know what I mean?
Listen, believe me, I'm about to ride DJ's ass, and I am not the biggest DJ fan, and I've got plenty of fucking pickles with DJ. But who we kidding here? Amanda fucking Nunes and goddamn Valentina Shevchenko ain't fucking breaking the pay-per-view box office either, Jack.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's not be ridiculous here now. They're co-main. They're right where they need to be. This is a great fight, but it's where it needs to be. Especially considering the fact, all due respect, that Amanda Nunes fucking dipped out like fucking 16 hours before the last fight. Lest we not forget that that was a little bit of bullshit she pulled. A little bit of bullshit she pulled that last go round. So yeah, no, it definitely doesn't need to be the main event. But that being said, it's a good fucking fight. I would say this is probably the hypest I've been for a female MMA fight since Ronda Rousey, dare I say. Because I don't give too much of a shit about Cyborg. If they line up the Holly fight, finally I'll be excited about Cyborg. But I her fight and Tanya Evinger didn't do a whole lot for me. This is a good fight. And I feel like we're going to probably find out who the best pound for pound, I know we all hate that term, but who female mixed martial artist on the planet is. I'm sorry, but Cyborg just don't got enough competition for my liking. So I'm sorry. It's just not the same for me. The female that wins this fight, though, that's a bad broad. And you know what I'm saying? Because this is going to be a dog fight either way. And this is one of those fucking pick 'em fights. I'm going to pick fucking Amanda Nunes because I like the way she fights. I like her style a bit more. I like the Vanderlei Silva fucking destroyer berserker style a bit more as opposed to Shevchenko's more refined technical striking, smooth grappling. I want to see the female Vanderlei come in on the warpath. But you know what I'm saying? It's a super close fight and could very well go either way. But I'm picking Nunes, but this is a dope fight, man, for sure.
Jesse.
Yeah, it's a tough fight for me to pick as well, just because of how that last fight went. But I think Amanda Nunes has kind of solved a little bit of those problems. I just don't know if this is too much of a pressure fight for her. Her reaction to Valentina Shevchenko during, stare downs and all that stuff has kind of been weird to me. I mean, it's very uncharacteristic of her. And I think Amanda Nunes knows that this is probably going to be her toughest fight until maybe if she does end up fighting Cyborg. So I think this is a do or die for her. And I'm not going to say what a lot of people are saying, that, she was scared to fight her and that's why, she pulled out of that fight at that last pay-per-view. I just think that she knows that this is something that she has to be 100% ready for this fight, 100%, physically there, mentally there. And I just don't think she was ready at that time, 100%. I think going into this fight, I think she's ready for this, and it's gonna be a good fight. I still am gonna go with Valentina Shevchenko though.
Yeah, I'm taking Shevchenko as well. I think the strike game is going to be pretty even, but this is a 5-round fight. You know what I mean? And to me, maybe the first fight, the fact that it was 3 rounds didn't really matter too much. But everyone's always said if we just went one more round, and Valentina would have won that fight. Fair enough. Maybe that's so. Now she's got 5 rounds to prove that right. You know what I mean? So, has Nunes cardio improved? Who knows? the weight cut last time, fuck with her real bad. She got sick and everything. There's a lot of things that make me think that should that fight enter the 4th round, Nunes is going to be gassing hard, and Shevchenko's going to put it on her. So I think we get a new champ, but shit can happen in the fight game pretty easily. All right, moving on here to the main event of the evening: Demetrius Johnson against Ray Borg. I know we all kind of wanted to see DJ against TJ. At first I was like, fuck that fight, and then I thought, well, I mean, at 125, who are you gonna throw in there, right? So I kind of want to see a TJ fight, see if TJ can make 125, and then throw him in there. Now it's DJ versus Ray Borg, and Ray Borg hasn't shown me not a damn thing, that tells me he's gonna beat DJ. What about you, Jesse?
Man, I would think that you would have a little bit more faith in the Mexican guy, but I guess not.
Yeah. Look, I go off of what I've watched, okay? And like I said, I want Ray Borg to win. All right, I'll be pulling for him on Saturday for real, but I just don't see it, man.
I agree with you. I think it's hard to really get on the what is it, Mexicution?
Yeah.
What's
Mexican Devil, I think. Yeah.
There you go. That's the one. It's hard to get on his coattails here and ride him into this fight, right? I think the biggest problem is the fact that he misses weight a lot. I think he's missed 2 times already before. So that's my biggest concern. I think he's got some good skills. I mean, he did beat the guy I think that we all as hardcores believe is the best fight for DJ, which was Jussier Formiga. He did beat him in his last fight. And he's had some pretty good fights moving into this title fight. I mean, it doesn't help that he lost to Justin Scoggins, 2 fights ago, But I mean, he's kind of rebounded and looked pretty good. You kind of can't fault DJ for wanting to break the record with the guy that's been in the division. But his defense of, I don't know if TJ will make the weight doesn't sit well because Ray Borg, he's missed weight twice, like I said. So it's kind of an iffy thing there. So we got to make sure that he makes weight. And I agree with you. I think DJ is just way too good for Ray Borg at this point. I don't think I've seen anything out of Ray Borg that wows me. But you never know, man. Sometimes these guys that are not meant to really do anything against a champion make it interesting, and might get a finish or a win. But I think DJ in 4 rounds takes this and either knocks him out or submits him.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. So, Fred, what are you picking here?
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. If anybody fucking picks Ray Borg, they're full of shit. I mean, let's be honest here, except for his fucking mama and his team. I mean, you can have a fucking feeling or something, but what kind of argument could you possibly point to that says he should actually win this fight against DJ? There's no way you're breaking that down, proud. There's no way he should win this fight. Could he win it? Sure. Anything's fucking possible. We all know that. Anything. He very well might win. Since fucking DJ decided to take this path of least resistance to get his fucking stupid, precious fucking, beat Anderson's title defense, fucking, break his stupid record. But at the end of the day, and people always bring up the TJ fight, like, oh, did you want to see the TJ fight? Listen, newsflash, douchebags. No, nobody really wanted to see the TJ fight. Do you know what we wanted to see? You know what I have just as much interest in as the TJ fight? A fight with Dominic Cruz.
There you go.
Or a fight with Cody Garbrandt. All of those fights tickle my pickle just right. What we want to see is DJ tested, goddammit. Now, I could probably think of a few 135ers that would be like, that would be interesting. There's a few guys at 135 that you could put in there with DJ that would be very interesting. He's just heads and shoulders above everybody at 125 right now. And who gives a shit about this Ray Borg fight? I mean, it very well might be a good fight. Ray Borg might win the fight, for Christ's sakes. Anything can happen. But going into it, how the fuck do you sell it? What is there to sell going into it? Hindsight's 2020. Am I going to get the event? Sure. Will I watch the fight? Absolutely. But like going into it, how do you sell this fucking fight? How do you really get us excited for it, man? There's not, I mean, we're doing a little quick pick'ems here. Who the fuck you think I'm picking? I mean, Mighty Mouse, you know what I'm saying? I'm rooting hoping for Ray Borg just to shake things up a little bit. I hope he does land a fucking lucky punch and win on some crazy shit. But I mean, who the fuck's going to realistically pick him? And that's the problem. Listen, when you have a fight like this and everybody's like, come on, man. Like, I have more faith in Conor landing a lucky punch on Floyd than I do Ray Borg winning this fight against Demetrius. Like, it's almost that level of absurdity. What argument? I mean, you could argue that he's young and hungry and maybe Demetrius isn't training hard. But if Demetrius is who we think he is, like, there's no fucking way he loses this fight to Ray Borg. So I don't know. I don't know if we're supposed to give a fuck or what the plan is here, but like, I tell you one thing, once he does, inevitably, if he does win and beat Anderson's record, it doesn't really count a whole lot for me. I'm sorry, but like,
here's the weird part. No one's talking about it at all.
Well, yeah, because it's against Ray Borg. I hate to be a fucking cunt, but it's just true, man. Nobody's talking about it because it's against Ray Borg. If it was against Dominic Cruz, it would just matter a whole lot more.
Right.
It's sad, but true.
You know what? I think you guys have the perspective of like that these guys are so little and there's so little time that's been fed into the 125 division that we don't have these Anderson Silvas, these Chuck Liddells, Randy Couture's of the division, right? GSPs. I think what you have to look at is the legacy that it's going to leave behind. How many champions currently or guys that you see potential champions that are going to be able to defend a title 11 times within their division? Go ahead. How many of those guys do you see possibly doing that?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, not many. Not many, but he was the first flyweight champion ever. So to say that he got in at the beginning of the game is a fucking understatement.
True, but all these guys were fighting in other divisions, fighting against bigger guys, just like he was, moved down to a division where they were better, quote unquote, and yet none of them could beat this guy. He fought a couple guys that were on EPO, for God's sakes, trying to keep up with the guy, and they still couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
So to me, what we're seeing here is the level of excellence that Demetrius has had and will probably continue to show. And I think him fighting out of the division is going to be kind of a travesty. And I get it. He's going to have to do it to kind of, sell pay-per-views to be more marketable. But I just think that the way that he's been able to dominate his division against guys his size, some guys that are a little bit bigger than him, is pretty impressive, man. 11, if he gets this fight, 11 in a row, I mean, that's pretty damn impressive for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get what you're saying. It's just he's definitely the most talented, most dominant. He's just not the most exciting, and I think that's the reason why people don't really care. You know what I mean? But Rose saying, "Damn it, Fred, you had gone a while before shitting on one of my favorites." Talking about DJ, and then she makes the point that he's gonna break the record without steroids.
Okay, you know what? Listen, I'll fucking give you that, Jack.
Yeah.
The little fucking cute little prick does deserve his credit there. I don't think he is a cheater. I don't think he ever has cheated. And this day and age, it's
rare now.
Spoken. Yeah, man. I will give DJ that. I don't think that he's ever had a problem with that, and he has done it clean. So he deserves his credit there. Fair enough. Fair point.
Are we also gonna, Fred? Are you gonna talk about his new Reebok kit that says Demetrius Johnson?
Oh, yeah. Go. You want to say that, Ed? I seen your homie Ash had tweeted something about that, saying that,
apparently DJ's changing his nickname to Mighty. That's why he did that.
Fucking crickets.
Yeah.
DJ, I know you don't give a shit about our opinion or the show, but please, good Lord, best idea ever. Like, you look like a mouse. You are small and you are mighty. You are Mighty Mouse. Like, you lose the mouse, it loses all of its fucking luster, Jack.
Yeah, that's just, the nickname thing is weird for sure. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we head out here?
Do you want to touch on what is it, Combate 17 that's happening next week, or do you want to just move that to next week?
I'd rather save it for next week because after 215, unless something crazy happens, there's not going to be a lot to talk about. So I wouldn't mind doing like a nice little mini preview of that next week if you're cool with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. Anything else? All right.
Want to give a shout out to Derek Lewis for being the hero of Houston.
Derek Lewis, you bad motherfucker. For real. That dude went around in his truck and just fucking picking people up and taking them to a safe spot, and then pulling trucks out of the mud. Dude was doing work, and he fights what in a couple weeks or 2-3 weeks.
And listen, can we all just take this opportunity to do two things here? A, fucking, give a shout out to everybody dealing with the hurricane shit, all the rain and all that shit that's fucking horrible. And B, to all of us that are not, shut the fuck up. Quit your crying. We should all use this as an example of things could always be worse, right? You could look out your fucking front door right now and your goddamn house could be swept away in a sea. So if you're in your cozy little fucking home right now, watching this on your fancy little Wi-Fi, go fuck yourself if you're in a bad mood or you're feeling sorry for yourself. Because it could be a fuckload worse, believe me. Be happy. Don't worry. You could be fucked like some people are. You see the size of that cocksucking hurricane coming towards Florida?
That one's fucking, that's ridiculous, dude.
Listen, basically, if you're not in Florida, give yourself a pat on the back and thank the fucking Lord above that you happen to not be there right now, because they are about to be fucked with a capital F.
Dude, that one looks fucking awful. Like, that place is gonna get just destroyed, man. There are people already back in. John Anik lives in fucking Florida, and he's already bailed. He sent his family to New York.
Shit. John Anik is up in Canada by now, Jack. Yeah. John Anik went so far north, he's cold.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that, I'm out. So everyone in Florida, look, we're with you, man. Good luck. Stay safe. Get the fuck out of Dodge if you can. But if you can't,
there you go. Yeah. You want some fucking advice? Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. And then usually says Coach Kavanaugh's in Florida right now. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. You take that McGregor private jet and get the hell out of Dodge, dude. Fuck that shit.
Son, if I was in Florida and they even rumored a hurricane, I'd be towards the door. I'd have my shit packed at all times. Let's go. Kids, get your shit.
You got the go bag at all times, just in case the thought is even thought, man. All right, so everyone in Florida, please stay safe. Everyone in Houston, the rebuild has begun. So Nick Pilecki's totally fine, by the way. People were asking me for a long time if Nick was okay. He's fine. He was in Florida during the actual hurricane, flew back, I think, last week, and he's good. So whatever.
What? Is Nick Pilecki causing these storms because he was in Texas before, got out of Florida? Damn. Stay away from Nick, apparently.
Yeah, or apparently go rub his fucking tits. He's either the most unlucky person in the world or the luckiest cocksucker known to mankind.
No
he
shit.
Just flies out as the state destroys.
Yeah, he leaves one just as it hits a hurricane, leaves the other right before a hurricane hits.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? He knows some shit. Someone interrogate this bastard. What the fuck, Nick? No, that's fine. But, all right, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everyone that tuned in. Raider, Priya Rose, Yuzi. Gundev was here for a while. He had to roll out a little bit ago. The dude from Congo, not surprised. That's right, not surprised. Liam, Gary Kosen, of course, the one and only Mike Jarvis was here. Thanks for tuning in, man. Everyone that follows, everyone that listens, everyone that subscribes, really appreciate it. Share it with your friends. Tell them to subscribe. You think this is cool. Invite them to watch the show and shit. New and bigger things are coming. Please believe. So. Yeah, definitely come hang out and shit, and follow each other on Twitter. So talk on the chat. Definitely. Also follow us on Twitter. You follow Fred at Kirby_MMA. Jesse is at Spawat1983. I am at Elaw31. The page is at Crossings MMA, and of course at Keyboard MMA for the Keyboard Warriors show. And shout out to Spices Pros. Shout out to Represent. Go to repcrossingsmma.com. Get yourself some cool gear. New shit coming out really soon, especially the Melendez t-shirts already out. And of course it helps us out, so really appreciate it. And all right, for myself, the fellas, the family, catch you guys later. Thank everyone supports us, and thank you, you salty fuck. Regardless, we love you anyway, you piece of shit. And good night, Wilshire.